Should you buy Pokemon Scarlet or should you be buying Pokemon Violet? What are the version exclusives between these two games because you're not buying the double pack? Well, how about we talk about that? I previously made a video covering this subject with some preliminary information. However, now I have absolute concrete 100% proof as far as all of the version differences between these two games and the obtainable Pokemon in them. I'm recording this video before launch, so I'm not going to be including any screenshots or content from the game itself, but I am going to be telling you about all the Pokemon that are going to be obtainable. There are some Pokemon that are not officially revealed by the Pokemon Company. Those will be reserved for the end of the video, and an appropriate spoiler warning, probably somewhere around there. It's near the end. It's going to be over there, and that's when I'm going to be talking about those. But for now, let's cover every known and returning Pokemon that's version exclusive between these two games. So here I've put together a handy little chart to help me keep track and help you keep track of all the version exclusive differences between these two games, and I'm going to be going through them in sort of pairing order. The ones with the Scarlet background are going to be exclusive to Pokemon Scarlet. The ones in the Violet background are going to be exclusive to Pokemon Violet. I'm going to do my best to not mess up these two words. I can't make any promises. This is now me during a different take because I did run into a few issues, and that's going to be present on the old video, but I wanted to swap the video out because I had one small error, and I feel like one small error, you could put a card in a pinned comment, but two of them, I'm not going to stand for that, so I'd rather just lose the credit on all the views of the 946,000 and however many people just watched the previous one, so now it is just this. I'm dedicated to getting accurate info out there, even if it means hurting the channel. Said no YouTuber ever. But me. You're a fool, Austin. So right here is going to be a list of all of the Pokemon that have been officially revealed, either previous generations or this current generation, that are version exclusives. First of all, you're going to be having Armarouge and Ceruledge. Armarouge is a fire psychic, Ceruledge is fire ghost. They were officially revealed by the Pokemon Company as being version exclusives and new Pokemon of this generation. It is a split evolution, and while technically the evolution is not version exclusive, the item for its first form is. Think of how Applin was for Pokemon Sword and Shield, how you could only get this item in this game, this item in this game. There is a similar thing that executes for these two Pokemon. Stonejourner and Ice-Cube remain version exclusives as they did in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Oranguru and Passimian remain version exclusives as they did in Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. In Pokemon Scarlet, we're going to be having Stunky and Skunktank, and in Pokemon Violet, its opposite is going to be Gulpin and Swalot. In Pokemon Scarlet, you're going to be having Drifloon and Drifblim. In Violet, you're going to be having Mischievous and Mismagius. In Pokemon Scarlet, getting into the dragons now, we have Larvitar, Pupitar, Tyranitar, Deino, Zyvelius, Hydreigon. In Scarlet, you're going to be having Bagon, Shelgon, Salamence, Dreepy, Dragcloak, and Dragapult. These are all version exclusive dragons, and working our way down, our last one is going to be in Pokemon Scarlet, you're going to be having Skrelp and Drogalge, and then in Pokemon Violet, you're going to be having Clauncher and Clawvitzer. And now I'm going to continue with the rest of the video that continued on without errors. Great. By the way, if you see this image going forward during the video, just know that this is the full 100% correct order. Great. If you have a very strong connection or aversion to any of these Pokemon lines, that may be enough alone for you to then decide which version of the game you want to play. But if it's not, it's time to talk about a feature that's going to be in this game. We've been told about 4 specific Pokemon related to the themes of these games. The theme for Pokemon Scarlet is Pokemon of the past, and the theme for Pokemon Violet is Pokemon of the future. We were told that your professor is hard at work in the studies of these two things, and there are Pokemon corresponding to that. Officially introduced so far is Koraidon and Miraidon, your ride Pokemon throughout the entire game. Keep in mind that you are able to trade for version exclusive Pokemon, but the Pokemon that you're going to be riding throughout the entire game is never going to change. If you're playing Pokemon Scarlet, you are always going to be riding Koraidon. If you're playing Pokemon Violet, you are always going to be riding Miraidon. They have very similar mannerisms in game, Some of their facial expressions are different because Miraidon has LEDs for eyes as opposed to Koraidon, who has pupils for eyes, you know, like animals do. These two Pokemon function exactly the same in game as your ride Pokemon. There's official footage of these two Pokemon running around. To be honest with you, I wasn't a fan that Koraidon's throat sac swells up to become a giant wheel, but he doesn't use that wheel. Instead, he just runs with his hands and feet. And Miraidon is literally a floating electric motorcycle. I think that's cooler. Some may like the skedaddle look of Koraidon. Some may look the futuristic Tron hover bike of Miraidon. That may be enough to influence you on your decision. That is solely what I based my decision of which game I played first. I played Scarlet. Also officially introduced is Great Tusk and Iron Treads. Great Tusk and Iron Treads is a past variant and a future variant of Donphan. These Paradox Pokemon have their own unique typing, and that does remain true for other Pokemon who are past versions of Pokemon in Pokemon Scarlet and future versions of Pokemon in Pokemon Violet. If you played Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, you may remember that during the story, you encountered an Heligo and a Ligo, whatever his name is, and then at the very end of the game, you were able to encounter all of the Ultra Beasts. Similar thing. And now we're going to be talking about spoilers. There's going to be a spoiler bar appearing at the bottom of the screen. Specifically, what I'm going to be talking about, I'm not going to be showing images of the new Paradox Pokemon of the past and of the future. Instead, if you want to search those images up online, it's still pre-release while I'm recording this video, that's completely on you. I am going to be talking about their typings and their overall theme. You can make your decision on that. If you want to look them up, go for it, but that's gonna be on you. I'm kind of leaving the ball in your court here. I've given you a bunch of good information, like Gulpin's a Virgin exclusive. Who doesn't love Gulpin? If being privy to this knowledge is something that you don't want to be before launch, there's gonna be a card right about here. Click that card, go watch another one of my videos that might help you. It might be the one about all the Pokemon that are gonna be transferable only, because they might be in Max Raids or Terra Raid spotlights. I don't know. It's gonna be something there. It's been gone for a while, I know. Taking a look at the big picture of all of what are called officially Paradox Pokemon, the Scarlet game has all the past versions, officially introduces Great Tusk. However, there's also Screamtail, which is based off of Jigglypuff, Brute Bonnet based off of Amoonguss, Fluttermane based off of Mischievous, Slitherwing based off of Volcarona, Sandyshocks based off of Magneton, and Salamence based off of Roaring Moon. As opposed to in Violet, you're going to be having Miraidon and Iron Treads officially introduced, Iron Bundle, which is a future version of Delibird, Iron Hands for Hariyama, Iron Jugulus for Hydreigon, Iron Moth for Volcarona, Iron Thorns for Tyranitar, and Iron Valiant, which is a mix of Gardevoir and Gallade. All of them have very different typings and very different appearances. If I were to say that the past versions had a theme, overgrown is the best way I would refer to them. Think of prehistoric, overgrown things. And future version is everything is metal. But it's cool though, because the metal in this game actually has really nice light reflections, so it's neat. But there's something to know that all of these Pokemon listed here do not have any pre-evolutions or evolutions. That's the reason you're seeing Jigglypuff here and not Wigglytuff, because it's just based off of Jigglypuff. In addition, the base stat total of all these Pokemon is very high. These 6 in each version, Great Tusk, Iron Tread, Screamtail, Iron Bundle, Brute Bonnet, Iron Hands, Fluttermane, Iron Jugulus, Slitherwing, Iron Moth, Sandyshocks, and Iron Thorns, all have a base stat total of 570, which is almost legendary status, or pseudo-legendary status. Pseudo-legendary status is base stat total of 600. So all of these guys have very high base stat totals. Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant have, as of version 1.0.1, 590 base stat total, which makes them just 10 below pseudo-legendary status. All of these Pokemon have unique typings. None of them are really phenomenal. The past ones have one ability all related to Koraidon or Harsh Sun, and all the future Pokemon all have an ability linked to Miraidon or Electric Terrain. So it's related to those two concepts, which I think is pretty neat, because when it comes to competitive and stuff, it was always like, what terrain is it? What weather is it? Well, now you're gonna be doing both at the same time. Oh, also Koraidon and Miraidon's base stat total is 670, if that's relevant to you. Just a little tidbit here, you may be wondering how it works with your ride Pokemon. You are going to be getting access to another of the same species that you are going to be able to trade. So everyone playing Scarlet is going to have their Koraidon that can never be traded, and one that you can catch, and then you can trade that one away freely. I don't know exactly what the tag is that may or may not prevent your Koraidon from being traded, but I assume there's going to be one. Once you play the game, you're gonna understand exactly what I'm talking about and how that's executed. That is all of the version exclusive Pokemon for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Until next time, Austin John out.
Man, they see me shining like I got the charm. Stay strapped, got that jet ball in my palm. Felt from the sky, guess I'm the chosen one. And if you need to know how, check out Austin John. Champion flow, yeah, I got that champion flow.